so many bads. What are you going to opt for? Not all the myths can be relevant, but you cannot do without them because they are a part and parcel of your life. So it's better to filter in the right things and go ahead with the best of things that can make you. But Willy Loman was a character who denied all the nationality that is required for us to make the best of us. I basically selected this play because you all can relate to a person who's a common man, right? His character unfolds absolutely the psychodynamics of myth. Although Miller has always written on realism, it has been his hallmark to write on realism, but when we read Death of a Salesman, we feel that, this person, the protagonist, is carried away and is away a far cry from reality. He is absolutely swayed by all the influences of American culture, where he feels that he is going to establish himself a very right position in the society, in the family, with his good looks, and a very, very sad thing happens. He forgets to realize that what American myth of success promised to all of them may not be able to practically deliver. And we find that he was a part of the American ill-fated dreamers. The play, The Death of a Salesman, revolves around the pitfalls of the Loman family. Willy Loman, as I said, he brought in the entire influence, whatever ideals he developed from the society, he brought in the entire influence into his own family. He groomed his boys, Happy and Biff. The similar way, the faulty ideas that he particularly had, he put them all into his sons. And his sons would never know the real difference between the right and the wrong. He was married to a very beautiful lady, Linda, and who bore him wonderful children. And for Willy, at that particular moment, that was the best of the world that he could get, because he always concentrated on everything that was external. Carried away by the myth of American literature, he believed that his sons would be tremendously successful, and he started believing that he himself was a successful salesman, and he felt that the whole world would be running behind the Loman family, and this is the Loman myth. When we read Death of a Salesman, we find there's a connection drawn between life, literature and myth, because that decides the course of Willy's life. And you know what? He's very triumphant. He triumphantly passes on his faulty secret success of mantra to his sons and wife, and he's not a bit unhappy at that moment, because he feels that he is probably doing the right thing. When you know that you're doing the right thing, there is no cause of distress at all. And the greatest distress in life is not to know that you're doing the wrong thing. So Willy's dreams were all based on myths of success. He was a staunch believer of the American myth that a person can scale glorious heights by means of personal attractiveness, initiative, poise, and contacts. Sadly, our set of attitude, our behavior stems from our society and the motivational forces. The society was not at all at fault. The hostile cosmos happens not because of the society. It happens because of a person who wishes to give in to the trends of the society, where he would have to, hold on to the rein. And what he does was, he keeps influencing his behavior. He keeps having an influence of his behavior on his people around, and which brings back the downfall of this entire family. A family which was torn apart, a wonderful family that was torn apart only because of a fruitless pursuit of an American dream. So Willy Loman is a representative of an American type who has willingly accepted and passed on all the forces of American culture into his entire being. He suffers from illusions. He's not successful at all. We've come to a point where he's not a successful man. He has lost his business, and he comes back and he tells his wife, I never have to wait to see a buyer, Willy Loman is here. That's all they have to know, and I go all through. It is just a misnomer that he suffers from. Willy Loman believed that his wife was beautiful, so he felt that he had the best thing in this world. He felt his children were like Adonis and Hercules, and he never dwelled in anything else which was really required to be questioned. The characters in the family should be connected with love. The characters in the family eventually were connected by a chain of mistakes, and they all lived a life of consolation. Myths can be extremely deep-rooted, and they can actually uproot a society at times if the person involved has a blinding adoration like Willy Loman. He's a fanatic adherence in his dreams of success. He feels he's extremely well-liked. He doesn't even judge him. And he feels he's presentable, so success should be written on every card. Unfortunately, his undue attachment to the American myth of dream and success leaves him lonely. And he explores and observes to find that if success was phenomenal, it was in his friend Charlie, who was ordinary and plain looking. Nobody liked him. If success was a big thing, a big chapter, it was his brother Ben, who was absolutely an ordinary man and never involved in wishful thinking like him. He was confused. The central issue of the play is the struggle of the individual attempting to gain the rightful position in society. And Willy Loman upsets the entire social equilibrium by enforcing the exaggerated demands of an inflated ego. He never sat down to have an introspection. Had he done that, Willy Loman would have been a perfect American, a successful man. It is about an individual who so unreasonably embraced false ideas. And Miller says, Willy went wrong because he was always selling himself. In this mammon worshipping society, Willy lives constantly under illusion. He maintains his faith till the end with tenacity, and he feels that it was heroic, although it was really short of it. We find myth reflecting American milieu. The psychodynamics of myth takes a spiraling turn and shows how it affected the entire Loman family. There were behavioral manifestations happening in the children too. Biff and Happy grew under a camouflaged influence of their father, wherein they were encouraged to believe that they were always the best and nothing wrong could ever touch them. Even when they were stealing, even when they were not studying, even when they were not making their grades, they were encouraged because he believed that academics, it has nothing to do with professional success. They were generously pampered by false praises and developed a faulty self-esteem. The sons were disillusioned when they came out to the outer world. They were unable to adjust to the outer world, where they felt very superior, and they found themselves at the end very inferior to the rest of them. His passions in life were absolutely incorrect, but he had this wonderful feeling that he was liked, he was loved, he was respected. Sadly so, the entire illusion had to shatter. Like every myth which is not relevant has to be taken care of. Here we are. They started feeling that Willy is a demigod and that he is very successful. He conceals his failures in front of the children. They grow up to be pompous, defiant, and sadly insensitive. Biff uses a punching bag where he's got a signature of a champion boxer's name branded there. And he flaunts around that bag without even knowing the nuances of boxing. I mean, the main thing was not taken care of. He wouldn't know how to really win a boxing championship, but he flaunted about the bag that he would carry. He felt so superior that he fanned his ego as a footballer only by holding the ball, and as he would dribble his ball, there were girls running after him. He felt better in that than, losing a match. He had a wonderful friend in Bernard who warned him about his grades, but he believed that Bernard was not liked. If Bernard was not liked, his grades were not of any use. That is what he believed, because it was his father's false ideologies that had permeated into him and made him similar as his father, a failure in life. But finally, Biff realized the priorities of life. He realized that, flaunting a sneaker which had the university name did not mean that he would be conferred with a degree on him. And he has a showdown with his father. And when he has a showdown with his father, he tells his father that he was a misfit in the society. And that is the time he has a breakdown. And he tells him very, very loud, the first time he's talking to his father like this, he says, "Do you think I have ever said any truth in this house for 10 minutes? I never got anywhere because you blew me so full of hot air. I could never stand taking orders from anyone. I'm not a leader of men, Willy, and neither are you. You were never anything but a hard-working drummer who landed in the ash can like all the rest."